Hello everyone, this is my Module 7 final project, Read for Your Rights. In this presentation, I'll be opening the discussion on the topic of banned books and its theme for our year 2025 and the focus down of censorship, literacy, and impact it has in our society. I'll also be examining the differing narratives behind book banning and the gap created between learners and the right to expanding our educational minds for human rights. So what is Banned Book Week? Although the censorship of books have been a part of history for a long time, from the burning and the confiscations of books to our present time of book censorship, Banned Book Week became a reminder that not only promotes literacy, freedom, and response to the challenging of these books, but also becomes a fight against the ethical risk for society's ability to move forward intellectually. Now, the theme of this year, 2025 of Banned Book Week, is Censorship is So 1984, Read for Your Rights, referring to George Orwell's novel 1984, the story of government interference through censorship, limiting the freedom of the people to obtain power. This serves as a call to action for people to not only recognize these censorships, but warn them about political interference that can impact education, history, and knowledge. Yet, how does this censorship in books connect to a more political perspective? For that, we have to take a look at what is seen as the narrative threat that frameworks what we visited in this course, highlighting when it comes to the discussion of human rights and activism. From Black studies to queer studies to critical race theory and more, many of these frameworks have often been critiqued by conservative platforms, while ranging from the Governor DeSantis of Florida opposition to Black queer studies, calling it not education but indoctrination. Charles Stimson seeing mass incarceration as a radical myth, and even William Galston seeing critical race theory as a controlled movement. The negative language used here has formed a misrepresentation and even a disconnect to how these discussions recognize the history, experience, and identities of those that make up our country. But how does this form of communication bring its ideas to the public? Are they accurate? There are two sides of communication, good faith and bad faith. When it comes to good faith, we are provided with a deep understanding of the topic with supporting sources as well as being able to welcome in new information, to change perspectives, yet there is also bad faith communications, which is similar theme to the previous examples of negative platforms, such as the misrepresentation of the topic, example being Galston to critical race theory, lack of concrete evidence, suggesting harm over deep analysis, example of Governor DeSantis claiming queer theories to be harmful, and selective supporting sources, example being Stimson uses of statistics for his viewpoint. These tactics to me seem more like a political agenda rather than creating a line of education for those that are trying to open their eyes. I do have to acknowledge a great example of good faith communication, which is the critical need to teach mass incarceration by Benjamin Weber. Unlike the other articles, Weber was able to stand by his position to promote a truthful learning while also delivering a perspective on a societal issue. Now, why does this matter? Because it's a form of literacy. Literacy is the ability to read, write, as well as interpret and engage with information provided. Whether it's media literacy, digital literacy, reading, etc., literacy is our way to connect with our world and to be a part of it. Literacy allows us to be part of our society, and its connection to citizenship continues on throughout our history. Throughout this history, literacy was a right that many Black people didn't have, whether that means of enslaved Africans to read and write, the segregation of schools and the block to voting, to even now as we create movements to obtain the human rights we deserve. As discussed in our audio source in our module, uncovering who is the driving fight against critical race theory in schools, it is important to provide the truth to all in order to engage with the truth and open our eyes to the world around us. Literacy, in simple terms, helps us know. Censorship undermines democracy by limiting people the information needed to be educated and aware. These censorships largely target the history of marginalized groups and cuts the education to learning about those histories and the way our society runs. It controls our understanding, prevents learning experiences, and discourages any hope to thrive. Books like Alice Walker, The Color Purple, though controversial, aligns people from all over to have a deep connection to its merit and keep hope alive, and hope is something that shouldn't be censored. Banned Book Week's 2025 acknowledges the government interference to restrict the truth and promotes us for as a society to see it out, fight for our right to literacy, and allows us to be educated about the world we live in and what we can do to improve it for future generations to come.